Low interest rates forever, investors take profits, and Nikola makes a run at Tesla. This is the Seville Reports Weekly Review, where we take a look at the headlines that move the markets during the week and all things investment related. On Monday, the Dow closed up 461 points, the S&P 500 closed up 38 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 110 points. And just like that, the S&P 500 was back in positive territory for 2020. This all occurred as the National Bureau of Economic Research declared that the economy fell into a recession in February, ending the longest expansion in U.S. history. But now in June, with markets gunning for all-time highs and all states reopening in some form or another, it appears the U.S. economy is in a state of recovery. Tesla's stock on Monday traded over $900 per share on news that the company sold 11,000 Model 3s in China during May. Tesla only sold 4,000 Model 3s in China during April. Nikola, the Tesla of trucking, also had a big day and saw its stock price increase 100% on the day. It appears Nikola has become the investment for investors who missed out on Tesla. Macy's and GE both saw minor gains on the day after the companies announced financing deals to secure much-needed cash. On Tuesday, markets closed mixed. The Dow had a bad day, closing down 300 points. The S&P 500 closed down 25 points, but the Nasdaq closed up 29 points. After the Dow registered 1,200 points of gains during the prior two trading days, it appeared investors took some profits off the table. The Nasdaq briefly traded over 10,000 and closed at new all-time highs. One of the stocks investors took profits from was Hertz, which was down 24% on the day after going on a major run after filing for bankruptcy. Vroom, the online auto sale company, went public and closed up 117% on the day. AMC Entertainment gave us a look at how bad the quarter was for movie theaters. AMC reported it lost $2.22 per share during the quarter, and revenue of $941 million was down 21.5% year over year. AMC expects to fully reopen in July. And Tiffany reported an EPS miss by 44 cents and a revenue miss by $98 million. Revenue was down 44% year over year, and comparable sales fell 43% in Q1 for the luxury retailer. This could explain LVMH's hesitation on acquiring Tiffany. On Wednesday, the Dow registered another down day, dropping 282 points. The S&P 500 closed down 17 points, but the Nasdaq closed up 66 points, closing over 10,000 for the first time in its history. News that moved the markets on Wednesday came from the Fed Open Market Committee, which indicated it expects a 6.5% contraction in real GDP and an unemployment rate of 9.3% for 2020, but a GDP rebound of 5% in 2021. The Fed also advised that they expect the current interest rates to remain near zero until 2022. Tesla closed above $1,000 per share after Elon Musk stated it was time to bring the Tesla Semi to volume production, according to Reuters. Tesla stock has been on a massive run since this time last year. As of Tuesday, the stock has increased 375% over the last 12 months. Grubhub announced plans to merge with European food delivery company JustEatTakeaway.com, which caught investors by surprise. According to CNBC, the merger between Uber and Grubhub stalled due to antitrust scrutiny. Grubhub was up 5% in after-hours trading. In a filing to the SEC, Delta reported that it expects a 90% drop in revenue in Q2 2020 from Q2 2019's revenue. On Thursday, the market experienced a massive sell-off after following Tuesday and Wednesday's down days. The Dow closed down 1,860 points, the S&P closed down 188 points, and the Nasdaq closed down 527 points. Several factors could have played a part in the massive selling by investors, including Jerome Powell's statements from the day before about the pace and quality of the economy's recovery from the current recession. Also, COVID-19 cases are rising in more than 20 states, which has investors worried about a second lockdown. More than 2 million Americans have been infected by the coronavirus, according to Johns Hopkins. There was also the unemployment number. Last week, 1.5 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits, reminding the markets that millions of Americans are still unemployed and are headed for unemployment. Also, some analysts summed up the sell-off as investors profit-taking from an overheated market. In addition to the massive sell-off on Thursday, we had earnings from two household names. Lululemon reported an EPS miss by 4 cents and a revenue miss by $4 million. Revenue was down almost 17% year over year, but e-commerce revenue rose 68% year over year. However, it wasn't enough to make up for store closings during the quarter. Adobe Systems reported an EPS beat by 13 cents, but a revenue miss by $30 million. Revenue did grow 14% year over year, and the company gave revenue guidance of $3.1 billion for next quarter. And the Jiayin Group reported an EPS miss by 6 cents and a revenue miss by $5 million, with revenue shrinking 57% year over year. This stock isn't a household name, but it had a really big run up during the week. On Tuesday, the stock closed at $2.95 per share, and on Wednesday, traders ran the stock to over $30 per share before it came crashing back down to close the day at $5.80 per share. Its momentum caused other Chinese fintech companies like Wins Finance and China Finance Online to also experience big moves up. On Friday, the market stumbled out of the gates but eventually got their footing and closed higher. After an 1,800-point drop the day before, there was lots of value in the markets for bargain hunters. United Airlines saw a big move up on the day as investors piled into one of the oversold names from the previous 3 days, and Tesla shares dropped on downgrades by Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. The Wall Street houses believe there are risks for Tesla that investors aren't taking into consideration, such as the growing tensions between the US and China. In other news, AT&T is allegedly in talks to sell its WB Games business. WB Games titles include Harry Potter Wizards United, the Lego and Hitman franchises, and Mortal Kombat 11. Take-Two, Activision Blizzard, and EA are all rumored to be interested. Overall, the markets were down on the week. The Dow was down 5.5% on the week, the S&P was down 4.7% on the week, and the Nasdaq was down a little over 2% on the week. In crypto news, the major digital coins we follow continue to trade in line with traditional markets, also pulling back on the week like the traditional markets did. Bitcoin continued its struggle to break and hold above 10,000. Bitcoin lost 3% of its value on the week and ended our week trading at $9,409. Ethereum ended our week at $236.45, down 2% from last week. Litecoin came in at $44.77, down 5% on the week. And Ripple ended the week at 19 cents, down 5% from last week. Crude oil closed our week out at $36.60 per barrel, down more than 4.5% from last week's price. A big winner for the week was Wins Finance Holdings, WINS, which increased by 400% during the week despite the sell-off on Friday. The market's run-up of the Chinese fintech firm during the week comes in spite of the Nasdaq warning Wins several weeks ago of a possible delisting because the company had failed to file its annual report for 2019. A big loser for the week was Red Robin's Gourmet Burgers, RRGB. The stock fell 31% due to larger than expected earnings losses and news of insiders selling their shares. That's a wrap for this week's market review. If you want to dig deeper into the headlines we covered, the links to the stories are in the description below, and a link to sign up to our weekend article in Focus is also in the description below. And if you're ready to get serious about investing and creating wealth for yourself and your family, check out our latest quarterly newsletter, The Seville Report. Serious investment ideas presented in a way that experienced and novice investors can understand. If you're ready to master the markets, check out our newsletter at SevilleReport.com. Thanks again for checking out the Seville Report's market review. This channel is dedicated to anyone who wants to start investing but doesn't know how or where to start. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section, like and subscribe, and may your next investment be your best investment. See you next week.